All right, all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is round 6 of the 2021.2 SimTC series. I am going to be butchering this name. We are at Acopone Raceway tonight. It's a fictional raceway. In the similar vein as we had earlier this year for the GP series at Ottawa. I'm looking forward to this. I had a lot of fun taking pictures all over the track, trying to get a nice backdrop for, a nice static image for the stream going. I'll try and get to that just now, Melvin. I'm just waiting for everything to go down fine. Why is the game not showing in my background here? I am not going to worry about that right now. That's fine. They are still in practice. I will switch to that view in a moment, and also start working through the basics. Well, the core parts of the night, just getting to show everybody what is coming up and what to expect from tonight. Right, so we go back here, and I can just quickly get the timing towers back up. So we're in overtime for the practice session. They should be, well, once the last person on a valid lap, might be Pieter Geldenhuys, crosses the line, and I think Pieter might not have selected the right livery. So as they cross the finish line, we'll start and hop on over into the next session. In the meanwhile, so in terms of race info, just a quick update on the weather. Nice early morning 10 a.m. race. 22 degrees Celsius in the air. Track temp is around 20 degrees. Very nice and grippy track. Looks like there was a lot of support races for this one. Slight wind. Not sure if that is necessarily enough to upset the car. We'll have to wait and see. Then, in terms of the track itself, I've seen this. It looks like a very flowy track. I haven't driven it myself. I should have made some time, but with the big race a lot of people are aware about. Ooh, someone in the background sliding there. Coming up. Haven't had as much time to practice. Total of 21 corners there. That's a staggering amount. But it's from what I've heard, it's a relatively flowy track. There's some good moments for trying to outbrake one another. But it's about sticking on the tail of what someone is doing. While we're waiting, I'm gonna quickly hop over to next lap guide, and then we'll try to quickly discuss what is happening with this support, not with the championship.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to an onboard flying lap, a qualifying lap at Acopone Raceway. This, of course, a completely fictional track. We are for the Sim Race SATC Series 2021.2, and we're on the soft tires, so we're taking it very easy on our outlap. They will literally only last one lap, and barely even that. Braking just after the 50. Keep the car as straight as possible and go all the way over to the right-hand side. You want to make sure to brake in a straight line. It'll give you the best possible braking, and also you won't spin out. Okay, absolutely flat through here. That's turn 3, turn 4. Just shift up a little bit early. Helps you keep to the right-hand side and keep flat through that left-hander, braking just after the 100-meter board. Turning in and getting on the power nice and early in these on these soft tires really helps you keep the car flat. Sticks all the way through here. Fourth gear, just clipping that curb there. Help keep the track as straight as possible up and over the hill. Don't hit the dirt on the right-hand side there. Into sixth gear, and we're going to fling the car through this little right-hander, but here we go. Just braking between the 100 and the 50. And carry as much speed as you possibly can. Avoid the green curb there. It will really throw you off. Right-hander in fourth gear can really lean on those soft tires. They are screaming by now with heat. Fifth gear, just feathering the throttle through this section. Keep the car all the way on as far as you can on the right-hand side through that. Right-hander to line you up for this left-hander. And into sixth gear we go, braking just before the 50-meter board there. I like to keep the car nice and tight through this this corner, but you can take a slightly different line. It's about the same speed. Keep the car nice and tight through that right-hander, riding the curb for the final right-hander, and over the line we go for a 1 minute 33.614.
Alrighty then. Thanks Nick for the video as always, showing us how it's done. I'm always astounded by the level of detail you go into with these track maps. Let me quickly update people here. So while the first the first laps are happening right now, I'm quickly looking at the driver's standings. So right now we have Mr. Ross Bartle with a total of 988 points, Nick Hodgson with a total of 974 points, Brett Crowcamp in third with 949 points. Then Renier Leach and Pieter Geldenhuis 915 and 913. So I think there's a close-ish battle that can still unfold there tonight, depending on if either one of them can improve their worst 1 or 2 drop rounds. Yeah, okay, so there's 2 drop races, not drop rounds. There's a lot to still play for. In terms of drop rounds, my calculator thing sheet is not looking like, well, it's not showing me the drop rounds that I was hoping for. So up front, I think Brett had already said there's not much that he can do for the race, and he's also not there tonight. Same with Ross. Ross wasn't feeling too well today, so he excused himself. So Nick can probably come and steal away some points here. I'll be interested to see what'll happen if Nick can give himself some extra juicy points there. It does look like that's not enough. So if I quickly add here a win for both races for Nick, that bumps his total with drop rounds up to 986, which is 2 points short. So off the bat, I think Ross has already taken this championship. I see Brett in the YouTube chat there, so not much that I can help with there. He's likely, you can't get more points if you're not racing. Looking up and down the field and trying to quickly see who is connected, who is racing with us tonight. So we've got Nick Hodgson, Francois Erasmus, Hardis Boyce, Stefan Herbst, Pieter Geldenhuis, Gregory Hofart, James Leach pops up, so he is in a bit of a battle with James Leach Sr., it seems. James Leach Sr. sitting on 843 points and James Leach sitting on 826. Not necessarily quite the points that a point difference that can be made up, although I do see a 0 there in one of James's results, so likely some points to be made up for him. Just to quickly get back to the field, so we've got Nick Hodgson up in provisional pole with a 133.5. He's well ahead of Francois Erasmus with a 34.7. Looks like some of the aliens just couldn't make it. It's part of the season. It comes to a close. As it comes to a close, if someone has enough points, they can feel quite comfortable. In the YouTube chat, Melvin Goos, hello there. Mr. YouTube, that looks like Jotan van Asweg. Yeah, Jotan. Hello, Jotan, Jandre, Wimpy de Beer, Philip Minnar, and Brett Crowcamp as well. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Come and enjoy the race with us. Looking forward to it. Okay. So, I do see Kobus Ras popping over the line and improving his time. So, jumping to Nick. He is still improving, coming through the twisty sections there. Unfortunately, no corner names for us tonight, so I'll have to kind of go on feel, or maybe I should just have my track map open and pay more attention to what I'm doing. So turn 19, this is then turn 20 and 21 before the last corner, turn 22. Slightly cuts there. Is that, yeah, that's still enough. So he improves his time by 0.02 of a second and jumps straight to pits. So that's almost 1.5 seconds ahead of Francois Erasmus. Sean Bingham bumps up into second there, so it's going to be a point blank. I think Sean Bingham is a point blank driver, yes. Point blank front row lockout tonight, as had been the case for most of the races this season. Christy Simon on a very, very good lap, although I don't see him on the timing tower, so he's well up on his delta. I just don't think he's set a valid lap for himself yet. He can get it across the line. We'll have to wait and see what he can do. Ooh, loses it on the very last corner. He'll have to quickly get out so that he can go and set a lap for himself there. Cobus Ras crossed the finish line. He improves by 2/10. Not quite enough to bump him ahead of Pieter Geldenhuys, but I'm sure he can go fight for some more time. See what he can do. Pieter Geldenhuys also coming across the finish line. He improves by half a second and it bumps him up into 5th place. Well done to Pieter there. That's someone trying to get out of the way. I am not sure what happened just now. Renier just ran into the wall and then bumped through the level, it seems. Craig Wesley shouting there from Pieter. He's been a very popular guy to be rooting for these days, from what I can see. Hunting. Quibus on a good lap now. He's coming through turn 13 now. This left hand right, 14, 15, 16, and it's a little blind there, it seems. So you have to have a bit of trust in your racing line to be comfortable here. He's half a second up on his delta. It's all about carrying that momentum through. Maybe not the best of exits, but if he can keep it clean here, he's going to improve by half a second, which it might still not be quite enough to bump him up in front of Gregory Hofart. He improves, so that's 2/10 behind Gregory. Gregory also on a screamer of a hot lap there, improving by a whole 10th. It's still not going to be enough to bump him up ahead of Stefan Herbst. Still on his line. He's just started a last valid lap. Hopefully he has enough fuel and tire life left so that he can try go for another lap. Corbus had a bit of a breathing room there, but it's not quite enough. Francois Erasmus runs very wide. I might have invalidated his lap time. Yeah, I think he's pulling off the road. Christy Simon still trying to do his valid lap. Interesting. I'm seeing Nick on hards in the pits. Not sure if that was his quali run or if he's already loaded up his race setup. But a relatively even split between softs and mediums, with a few extra hard compounds thrown in there as well. Hey, Christy, two seconds up on his best. Crosses the finish line, and that bumps him into 10th. So he had a relatively solid lap. He just had to hook it up. Apologies, I thought I had turned on streamer mode on my Discord with all of the arrangements for the virtual Kyalami 9 hour. It's been pinging non-stop. Renier Leach jumps into 9th position there, so good qualifying from him then. We'll go to a very quick short ad break, and we'll be back once everybody has bumped to the grid. For some reason, it seems that my microphone was not working for the last, 13 minutes, and I've been talking like a madman to myself. Okay, but battle is still alive. Alive and well. So Sean Bingham, James Leach, Renier Leach, and Pieter Geldenhuys. Four-way battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth. Looking down the order, I do see Donnie Stander looking like he's going to be having a bit of a look on the back of Bjorn Buchner. Gonna try and stick with that. I'll keep my eye on the front there. Does look like Sean Bingham is pulling a tiny bit of a gap there on James Leach, although it might just be James is backing off a bit, trying to save the tires for the end of the race. Russ is also coming in for this battle. Didn't have perhaps the best of starts, so he's also looking at fighting his way back. Donnie's running very, very wide there, just carrying a bit too much speed. Up ahead, Renier Leach all over the back of James Leach. This is brother versus brother. There's nothing that can top battles like this. Peter having a very big moment there. Manages not to collect the leeches. Just very, very lucky there, I think. But he'll not want to be making too many of those mistakes, because Stefan Herbst is going to be closing in on him very soon. Just hopping back to Donnie Stander. Has a look on the inside. Sends it all the way. Runs very, very wide. That's not how you want to do that overtake. He's going to have to rejoin. Does do it safely. But it does allow Cobus Russ to also slip by and Bjorn Buchner to claim back that position. I think the focus will now shift to Cobus Russ and what he can do behind Bjorn there. I'll say this, luckily I've been keeping on top of all of the racing. Quickly switching to Hardus Boysa on the back of Sean Hards. You're coming over the hill here. That is just after turn 10. Into turn 11. Over the little bump there for turn 12. Down to turn 13 and into the winding Essies. Hardus telling me earlier that he's been prepping so much for the Kyalami 9 hour, it's a bit tough for him to switch back to ACC. I'm gonna call out lies. He is doing spectacularly well on staying on the back of Sean Hards here. Just exploring slightly different lines. Sean dipping his wheels into the grass there, maybe unsighting Hardus a bit. Cobus Russ manages alongside. Can he stay? Can he keep that position? Gets the drive out. He'll be able to slip in front of Bjorn. Bjorn has a bit of a lock up there, trying to make sure that he doesn't run into Cobus or be caught out by Cobus turning in. But now it's allowed Donnie Stander to catch up and try to make a move. Cobus going slightly deep. That might cost him a decent exit here. Donnie running deep again and onto the grass. He'll have to fall back in line behind Bjorn. Just bumping up ahead again. James Leach battling with Renier there. Always good when you have a bit of feisty, a feisty battle with your brother. I know that I can be very competitive with my brother. Ooh, James getting very... Can he keep the car going straight? Yes, he does. Ooh, just bumped over that... over those curbs and almost lost control completely. Well done on James for keeping that going though. Pieter Geldenhuys looking to now close the gap after James's mistake. Oh, and as I switch to Christy Simon, he's already sideways. I am not claiming commentator's curse on that one. Come on, switch to the Pieter Geldenhuys Leech battle. Stefan Herbst also looking like he's trying to get in here. Pieter Geldenhuys managing to get the overtake done on James Leach there. Stefan is now 7/10 off of the back of James Leach, and Francois Rasmus is 9/10 off of the back of Stefan. So they might have been taking their... oh yeah, so Francois had a bit of a moment at the start of the race. He's on a bit of a drive back. Maybe he's been taking it a little more cautiously, trying to keep his tires alive. 7 minutes and 19 seconds to go, so still a few laps in hand here. Keen to see what the drivers can come up with. It's a very tough call to make. So in terms of tire usage all around the field, Nick Hodgson, Sean Bingham, Renier Leach, James Leach, Rian van der Westhuizen, Gregory Hofart, and Donnie Stander all on hard tires. The rest of the field on mediums, and Christy Simon on softs. Maybe that was a mistake, I'm not sure. Maybe he can make it work. It's going to be interesting to see closer to the end of the race. He might just have to dive into the pits to try and fix that. So Hades Boyce on the back of Rian van der Westhuizen. I always have to just take a moment when I see R van der, because sometimes it's Ruan and sometimes it's Rian. Our long surnames don't always make it easy for us. You need to hide so much of the rest of the name, it seems. Right, so Hades not quite able to close that gap. Donnie Stander and Bjorn Buchner swapping places, so Bjorn not quite necessarily having the race that he's been looking for tonight. James Leach now closing the gap on Pieter Geldenhuys. James has shown that he's got the pace in hand. He's just not been driving as consistently as he might have been hoping. This is... Oh, Pieter just parking it on the apex there. Nick managing to just drive up the field. I haven't even bothered looking at what he's doing. I'll switch to him quickly in a moment. Just want to see what happens into turn 1. That's usually where the moves are made or the mistakes are made. Very interesting line into turn 2. I remember Nick explaining his school of thought there. It looks like a lot of drivers are adopting the same line. So quickly jumping up ahead to Nick. Just all of loneliness for him. He's been pumping in lap after lap after lap, and he's had a solid drive in first. Looks like his car is slightly in the ground there for a moment. But he's been having a solid drive, proving himself as one of the faster drivers in this season. Quickly switching back, looked like Hades Boyce might be closing the gap on Rian van der Westhuizen now. It's all about following closely so that you can get into the braking zone and go for that outbraking maneuver. Ooh, Rian does outbrake himself a bit. Did Hades get the drive that he's maybe wanting? Hades going side by side into turn 10. Ooh, for a moment there I had to take a hold my breath. Thinks better of the move. But he's going to be sticking behind Rian van der Westhuizen for the next few laps, I believe. 135s all around. James Leach doing 136s. Stefan Herbst 136. Francois Rasmus 136. So a bit of a pace gap between all of the drivers. Although I do also think that there's a bit of a battle that's influencing the pace. Hades keeping it very, very tight there. He's all over the back of Rian now. If he can focus on getting a good, clean exit here, he might be able to set himself up for making a move into turn 1. focus on driving that clean line. Rian running very, very wide. Ooh, almost cutting across him to get back on track. Hades is now side by side with Rian. Into the braking zone. Can Hades keep it? Oh, Rian still just eking himself ahead there onto the grass. That's not going to help a lot. Oh no, and in the background, Cobus Russ losing it there. That's unfortunate. Rian then going very deep. And that's allowing Hades Boyce to take 11th position from him. It's like taking candy from a baby. Right, Gregory Hofart on Francois Erasmus. Christy Simon going into pits. I think his gamble to run on softs might not have paid off for him as much as he'd hoped. So James Leach has now settled into a rhythm behind Pieter Geldenhuys, looking like he's not quite going to be able to contest that position before the end of this race. Just gonna bump up to Nick. He is coming up to, that is turn 20. So he's had a solid race. This will then be the start of his last lap. Nick on a tremendous drive, 20 laps. That's about a second per lap, maybe even more. We'll have to see. So he's doing, yeah, he's pumping in 133.7s. Granted, his car is likely quite empty right now, but that's been some solid pace from him. Just bumping back to James Leach. Looks like he closed the gap on Pieter, so I might be wrong. There's still some battle alive in the last few minutes here. Slightly cutting the corner there. Not sure if that maybe invalidated his lap. Oh, Christy Simon. Disconnect, so he's maybe said, cool, I'm gonna go and get ready for the next race. Pieter Geldenhuys under a lot of pressure now with James Leach closing that gap. It's now almost under half a second. Pieter running a bit wide there. Okay, just switching to Nick Hodgson as he rounds turn 21. That must be 21, and this is turn 22 for a well-deserved first position finish there. Well done to Mr. Nick then. Okay, bumping now to Sean Bingham. He's had a solid drive, lost out a bit at the start there with. He lost some positions, but he's made the most of his race and made sure to keep his nose clean, even though it looked like he'll have to battle. Just showed that consistency is key here. On to Renier Leach. You can see in the background there, Pieter Geldenhuys and James Leach also now crossing the finish line. Stefan Herbst coming to cross the finish line. And Francois Erasmus takes a 7th position, with Shiraz Dada now coming home for an 8th position finish. He's been having some hardware issues this weekend, but well-deserved top 10 finish for him there. And then the same for Gregory Hofart, 9th position. Sean Hards with Hades Boyce all over the back of him there. But I don't think Sean has to worry too much. So yeah, that rounds out the top 10. I am gonna go for a quick ad break while I sort out connecting to the new servers and things. I'll see everybody shortly. Alrighty, we're back. Was quite the exciting race there. I think there was some good hard clean racing tonight in that first sprint race. We're now just waiting for the second qualifying session to start. Again, 10-minute qualifying session, and we then bump into the 40-minute feature race. This race always bringing some interesting tactics with different teams trying out some slightly different strategies in terms of tires. The point blank cars up in front had shown that they can absolutely dominate. What is going on here? Why is my game doing this the whole time? Let's maybe just make sure that I have the right cameras selected. Maybe it is a camera issue. Oh, that is a TV camera that's behind some... behind a wall. Okay, that might explain what's happening. What was I lying about? Oh, yeah, no, there was some really entertaining and good battles tonight. I'm keen to see the different strategies at play. Right now, there's a mix of hards and softs out on the track. Everybody's just getting their eye in again. Bumping to a new server. The grip is slightly less, but it's not significantly so. So it's not going to be too much of a bother, and it also just helps having people do some laps. It only takes about 5 laps to build up the grip in this session, so 5 people can quickly complete a single lap in this practice session, and we're off to the races for a good solid qualifying session. I need to keep my throat lubricated tonight. It seems that it's got a bit of a frog in my throat tonight. Going back to YouTube chat quickly, whole bunch of people now popping up. Sean Weber there, Cleopas, Aula, who else? Was it just the 2? They've been busy. Nico Smith as well. Loads of support for SRAC. Quick look at what my WhatsApp's seeing. Brett messaged me notifying me of my incompetencies as a streamer where I forgot to turn on my microphone. Yeah, that's what happens. I turn all of my notifications off, and then when people actually try to get a hold of me, I don't notice. Anyways, we live and learn. I'm just happy that it was a very entertaining race to watch. I feel that there was a lot of action, so it was some good fun, just seeing everybody going about. Right, people are starting to. Ooh, that's very sideways into the pits. Right, everybody loaded up. Let me quickly check. Doesn't look like everybody. 1, 2, 3. Well, okay, we're about 16 people. Yeah, 15 drivers. That was about right. Let me just check. Shiraz Dada saying he can't get in. Let me quickly try and help him out. Listening to that Audi rumble. Okay, so only Nick and Gregory setting valid laps there. Right, so we're going over into qualifying session now. Everybody's going to be piling out of the pits. Looks like No, I'm not sure who got out of the track first, out of the pits there first. Felicia Erasmus. This is always the tough part about a very short qualifying session like this. I think in most of the series we're used to a 15 to 30 minute qualifying session. Well, I'm saying most. Most of the racing I've done I'm used to a 15 minute qualifying session. And if you look at it, that's a whole X3. If the lap's 1.5 minutes long, that's a whole 3 laps that you're missing. So it's added pressure to go out, complete your first out lap, and then start a few hot laps that you don't mess up. It's very, very important, for in my view, always to go give that first lap. Just give it some breathing room, get comfortable with the car. It's not always as productive to go at it full beans from the get go. Well, that's what I've found. Everybody's mileage may vary. I'm sure that guys like Mr. Nick Hodgson is just extremely quick always. So Francois has now started his hot lap. Gonna have to wait and see. And that's not the other thing is the first hot laps only start popping up after about 3 minutes. I'm always astonished at how the F1 drivers can build up that level of suspense. I just go out and I do laps until I'm done. They casually go out, do a quick lap, go back in, and then wait until the very last moment. How they do it, I don't know. Lots of people working there. Yeah, that can probably run the strategy better than I can do on my own. Melvin, I think I must agree with you there. From what I've seen on this track, it is absolutely beautiful. There could maybe be slightly more, what's it called? Like decorations around the track, but from a layout, this feels like a very well thought out track with some interesting corners in it. Maybe a bunch of kind of samey corners. But I don't think the windy, twisty ACs are quite the same, because the one is on relatively flat ground, while the other one is on the other two are on much more hilly sections of the ground. I'm looking at the race department page. I'm curious to see if there is like any vague area that it's positioned in. Not saying much. It's a purely fictional track, that it seems. Right. So again, times have started popping up. Nick Hodgson, 1:33.7. We know that he can do much better than that. So maybe my theory of getting a banker isn't completely invalid. He's building up to the fast lap instead of just going at it for the very first one. James running a bit wide. They're not sure if that might have invalidated his lap. We'll have to wait and see. In the meanwhile, he is giving it all the beans. Not sure who that is behind him. I want to risk and quickly see if it's Nick. No, it is not. Is it? I don't know. Yes, it is. So he's maybe getting a little bit stuck behind James Leach, but James gonna cross the finish line. He does, and he did invalidate his lap. Yes. Okay, so he's going to have to go at it all over again. Peter Gelden is bumping up into third there. He's almost 2/10. No, that's one less than a tenth off of Sean Bingham. Mr. Simon struggling a bit. Let me see what tires he's on. Softs. So that might explain it. Maybe the SE sections. I would imagine that's a lot of load to put the tires under, and that they'll overheat by quite a bit. Melvin, to maybe add to your comment there, I think Nick's driving style is also that of an extremely smooth driver. So I've found that he doesn't like the car bouncing too much, even if it might help with rotation. If the wheels aren't planted on the ground, he prefers to have the control and make sure that the car is doing what he wants it to, not hoping that it's going to do what he wants it to. But he's likely running a very soft setup. But that is kind of what his driving style is. Ooh, James getting very sideways into turn 3 there. Sorry, turn 2. Cobus Russ in 10th currently. He is 2/10 up on his delta. I think he showed that he can do a sub 36 in the previous qualifying session. But he's also building up to it. So he's managing 136.3 now. And that puts him in 9th. Takes a bit of a tight line into turn 2 there. Renier Leach crossing the finish line. He's got a whole heap of time there, so he'll have to keep at it if he wants to improve his start. Nick Hodgson managing a 133.2. That is the type of pace that I remember seeing from him. Hardest to almost 3/10 up on his delta. Ooh, he's showing that there's quite a bit more time for him to find into the SE section here at turn 13 and onwards. He's now built that up to half a second, flying over the hill. I missed it that you can fly like that, otherwise I would have made that the static for tonight. Either that or the AI just isn't as aggressive. Hardest doing very well to keep building this. He's losing a bit, but again, showing that he's been losing some time. Keeps it together, keeps it on track. That is going to be 6/10, almost 6/10 that he can say thank you very much. Bumps him up into 10th ahead of Cobus Ras. 135.7. Well done. Cobus Ras still coming at it, showing that he can take a few tenths off on every single lap. Build up that confidence, make sure that you can run it. That's going to be 3/10. It's not going to be enough to get him ahead of Hardest Boys, and it's also not going to be enough to get him into the sub 136 second mark there. But it's a very, very decent lap for him, I feel. Renier Leach again coming by, half a second up. Not necessarily having the best of laps at the start there, but he is pumping them in now. Almost goes very, very sideways into turn 2 there. but the wrong kind of sideways. Franco Erasmus currently 2/10 behind Peter Geldenhuys, so if he can hold on to the 2/10 that he has here, he'll be bumping himself up into the second row, leaving Peter to fight from 5th there. So maybe while I'm sitting here, let me see if I can start pulling some basic stats. I won't be able to load the results live tonight, but I can do some quick calculations to see if Peter and Renier, Peter and James is having a good battle tonight. No, it is Peter and Renier. Peter is quite a bit ahead. Yeah, he is about 20 points. I am cross-eyed. Peter is more like 70 points ahead of James Leach Sr. So there's quite a bit for him to win. I'll try and use the ad break as the time to calculate and see what I can do. Spice up this great race that we've been having tonight. Christy Simon seemingly struggling to set a valid lap. I don't think he is on a valid lap even right now, so just waiting for Sean Hards to cross the line, and then maybe we'll see BMW maybe struggling a bit on this track. The rear wheel drive cars might not be the best here. Right, we'll go to a quick ad break and we'll be back with the cars hopefully on the grid. Alright, this time I'm not making the mistake of not unmuting myself. I had a quick gander. It seems that with the last race, Grenier has managed to build a slight bit of a points gap on Peter. His result, I think it was a third position finish that nets him 95 points and Peter nets 94. But that's just extending the gap if we now start calculating drop rounds in as well. I'll quickly jump there to Sean Bingham. Pretty similar-ish starting grid, it appears. Francois Erasmus maybe not quite being where he wanted to. "15 seconds. Lights are showing. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Drop the clutch and away they go. Lots of smoke. Not quite 4 abreast as it was in the first race. But drivers are coming in 3 abreast. Hopefully they can keep it clean. Just gonna jump back there, making sure that the entire field gets through. Those point blank cars looking absolutely menacing with the dark windows coming at us. Stefan Herbst side by side with Shiraz Dada. Shiraz just thinking better of that. Still sticking his nose up the inside there onto the curb. Has a slight bounce, but I think he's going to make this overtake stick. That Nissan just not quite quick enough out of the corner. Sean Bingham again not having the best of starts. So Sean Hards on the back of Bjorn Buchner. Bjorn having a bit of a struggle in his first race. Ooh, and in the back there, Donnie Stander runs very, very wide. He gets back on track. Hopefully not too much in the way of Christy Simon. In terms of tyre choices, majority are on hards, with Francois Erasmus, and Christy Simon and Sean Hards on mediums. Sean, why do you never use the tyre that matches your name? Sean and Donnie getting very racy with one another there. Donnie managing to stay ahead though. Oh, no, no. Donny actually manages to get the overtake. I see some positions changing hands. Renier Leach and Francois Erasmus swapping around places. Peter Geldenhuis is now ahead of Renier Leach. Sean Bingham on the back of James Leach, followed by Peter Geldenhuis, followed by Renier Leach. Shiraz not necessarily having the race that he's looking for. He's falling down by a bit. Okay, so the battle's still pretty much alive. Renier Leach having a bit of a moment. Up ahead. Okay, so ooh, no, he's crashed. He's crashed. That is not what he is hoping for. He's going to have to charge his way back. Still a long way to go in this race. 37 minutes left. So I'm going to keep an eye out on him. I'm sure he's going to be charging through the field. Hopefully he doesn't have too much damage. Let me maybe try and see what I can find in his car. Just curious if his steering wheel is maybe a little bit off axis. Doesn't look like it, so he's hopefully not got too much suspension damage, if he even has any. So he can just focus on getting back into the back and working his way through. Let's get back to the TV camera. Francois Erasmus right on the back of Peter Geldenhuis. Peter showing that he can absorb a ton of pressure there in the sprint race. Even maybe extending that gap a bit. I'll try and switch to Sean Hards going side by side with Bjorn Buchner. He outbrakes himself slightly and Bjorn gets the cut back there. Almost allowing Donny Stander to get back at him. So Donny not quite having the race. Still having a lively battle there with Sean Hards as well. He managed to get ahead of Sean earlier, and now Sean has said, no, I'll take that position back. What's happening with Peter? That is not what I want to see. Why is he falling down the order? He's still ahead of Renier Leach. Pressure maybe got a bit much for him. I apologize then. Probably my commentator's curse was too strong. Back to Donny Stander. Sean Hards right on the back of Bjorn Buchner. Oh, Donny having to take a slight evasive action there. Taking different lines there through turn 20. Turn 19. Donny Stander going very, very deep. He manages to keep it going, but he is going to lose out a position to Christy Simon for that move. Just coming in way too hot into turn 1 there. But keep his head down. Let's see what he can do in the future. Meanwhile, switching to Gregory Hofart. Him and Stefan Herbst have been swapping places here and there. Melvin, actually, I'm going to blame that on you. You said that he is going to... hy gaan nou draf. Donny's... Whoa! I think Donny had a bit of a big moment there. Hopefully you can get the car going again. That was a bit of a scary moment for me. Four-way battle for 11th, 12th and 13th and 14th position. Christy Simon running very, very wide there. That's going to lose him a heap of time. And someone else had gone off in front. Sean Hards also goes off. And this is now allowing Quibus Russ to get the overspeed there. Well, not necessarily overspeed, the better exit. And he'll take 2 positions there. Thank you very much. But he is side by side with Sean Hards. Can he hold on to this position? Oh, we jump away quickly. Yes, I saw Sean Bingham right up next to James Leach. Ooh, almost there. Big moment. Both drivers keep it pointing the right way. Sean has been showing that he has a lot of consistency and pace here tonight. His race starts might not be the best, but he's been working hard at keeping his head down and doing good, consistent and fast laps. James Leach running a bit wide there, not sure that that's going to do his exit any favors, but he is still well ahead of Sean there. James Leach crumbles under the pressure, allowing Franco Erasmus and Stefan Haps to also slip by. Peter Geldenhuis right on the back of Gregory Hofart. They're coming side by side into turn 10. Gregory managing just to stay ahead there at the very last moment. Just looking down the field, Grenier has managed to build his way back into 11th position already. And Sean Hards right on the back of Bjorn Buchner right now. Keeping an eye on the gap there with Peter Geldenhuis. It's been relaxing a bit, but I think once they get back to the main straight, Peter will be looking to make his move. In that case, I'll be ready to switch. Minutes left on the clock, 1/4 of the way into this race. I'm expecting people to start thinking about pitting around the 22-minute mark. Not 100% sure what to expect. Oh, and I do see Sean Hodge managing to get by Bjorn Buchner. But Stefan Hapst is on the back of Franco Erasmus. That gap just edging closer and further. Maybe a bit of a concertina or breathing room happening. Back to Peter Geldenhuis. He's going to try and stick his nose up again. Is he? No, not quite. Focusing on carrying the speed through there. Gregory runs a slightly tighter line, and I'm sure that's not going to do him any favors coming into the SEs here. I've dubbed it the SEs, the larger of the sections, of the windy sections. Peter can now focus on getting a good exit here. Taking a slightly tighter line there. Gregory doing well to try and break the toe. Peter sliding that car sideways. Can he get it going again? Otherwise Hades Boysa is going to catch up. No, yeah, okay, he does. So Hades can't quite capitalize on the mistake. switching to Stefan Herbst on Franco Erasmus now. And again, we're seeing Mr. Nick Hodgson just flying up in front. I'm certain he's going to be coming up to traffic at some later stage. I need to do some quick calculations there. Yes, no, I think he's going to be heading up to lapping some drivers soon. Hey Hilton, no, this is actually race 2. Well, I think it's actually, we call it the sprint race and the feature race. This is the feature race. It's not like the Legend series, which has both races lasting 20 minutes. Stefan Franco going very, very wide there, and that's allowed Stefan to get by him easily. I do also see Peter Geldenhuys managing to get past Gregory Hofart there in the background. Franco Erasmus is now trying to hold on to the back of Stefan Herbst there. Ooh, and in the background, James Leach having a big moment. He is parked sideways. That's going to allow Peter Geldenhuys and Gregory Hofart, as well as possibly Hardus Boysa get to slip by him. Hardus going to have to work to keep James Leach behind him. See Shiraz Dada and Rian van der Westhuizen also having a right battle. I think that battle is already over. Shiraz managing to overtake Rian. Looks like it was onto turn 6. Rian having shown that he runs slightly wide out of turn 6. Might have cost him the position there. Oh, I just can't catch it. This was an incident. This must have been an incident. Both keep it pointing forward. We'll have to see what happens there with a post-race review, perhaps. Rian saying, I will not be left in your dust, Shiraz. He's staying right on the back of Shiraz there. Slight lock up into turn 19. Keeps it going. Rian really closing down that gap. Got an amazing run out of the turn 22. There was contact, slight contact, but they both keep it going. Some good old-fashioned rubbing is racing. Rian not maybe getting the best braking marker there, or getting slightly unsighted with Shiraz trying to keep a straight line through turn 1 there. Franco Erasmus has definitely been holding on to Stefan Herbst there, doing his best. While this is going on, I'm quickly going to switch to Mr. Nick Hodgson. He's casually coming across the finish line there to start lap 10, I believe, or probably lap 11. He's done 10 laps now. Doesn't look like he's quite in lapping territory yet, so I'm going to keep an eye on him. There's not much that can happen to him right now. He must just focus on doing good clean laps. It doesn't even have to be blistering. For a moment there I thought he was losing control. Okay. What happened to Sean Bingham? Oh no! Sean Bingham disconnected. That is unfortunate. He was having such a good run tonight. No, Rudy. No need to call out names. We don't know what happened there. I'm not making any assumptions. We'll have to wait to see if there is a post-race incident investigation request logged. It's been a while since I've done this, so let me see what I can do quickly. Just to notify everybody, I know it's the end of the season, but like, go and familiarize yourself with the website so long. The 2022.1 season should be kicking off early next year, so make sure that you go and find out where the sign up form is. Get ready to join. It's always some great fun racing. As a minimum entry fee, we ask people to make a minimum donation towards our charity of choice. In this case, it is Abba. And if I look at my admin sheet, I'll just quickly find the number. To date, we have managed to raise 34,042 rand and 88 cents for Abba. And it's an adoption specialist agency. Great to see people, some racers coming together and bringing their hobby, leveraging their hobby for a good cause. If you're wondering, this is a direct donation. There's no money handled by SRSA. We're not a third party here. We're just trying to help those in need. And we've run various different charities throughout the years now. So yeah, I'm not gonna punt people to go and join right now. I would rather say hold your breath, wait for next year. Some exciting news coming, I'm sure. I'm not sure when we'll be announcing all of the good bits, but I'm looking forward to the announcement itself. Sean disconnecting again there. Maybe got in and said, okay, no, I'm right at the back. This might not be a fun race anymore. That's unfortunate. But yeah, watch this space. Come and hop onto the Discord server. That's where most of the announcements will be made. So just come and join it. It's a nice, welcoming community, and it's just a good place to chew the fat and share this amazing hobby that is sim racing. Right, a lot of gaps now. Opening and closing. Renier Leach on the back of Rian van der Westhuizen. Both of them running the OC Brewers livery. Rian keeping the inside line there, so I'm assuming, yeah, he was lifting to let Renier by. Renier running slightly deep and Rian following him. Just jumping ahead, hoping that maybe just moving the camera will do something. Unfortunately, it looks like the majority of the gaps have now expanded a bit. Franchot taking a very interesting line there. I think almost getting slightly uncomfortable. We are at the 19-minute mark. Haven't seen people diving into the pits just yet. But this is now the time where we should start expecting some people to go for the pit stop. Unless this is one of those circuits. Oh, there's that camera again. Unless this is one of those circuits that isn't quite as rough on tires as some of the other ones, in which case we might be expecting a non-stopper tonight. It's caught me out once or twice. Some of the drivers can make it work. Renier Leach right on the back of Shiraz Dada now. very aggressive, throwing it up on the inside, makes it stick. Rides Shiraz out, almost off track, but she leaves just enough space, and he takes the position. That was a very, very good move. Good, solid, aggressive racing there. Shiraz maybe a bit hopeful, slight tap on the rear end. Both cars keep it going straight. Shiraz keeps a very, very tight line into turn 19 there, but it's not going to be quite enough. James Leach manages to gain a position. Okay, so Franco Erasmus, Stefan Haps and Hades Boyce goes into pits for tires. That's going to mean a few people are going to be bumping up positions. Let me quickly switch to Hades, he's still stationary. Stefan Herbst is just pulling away right now. Followed in close pursuit, in hot pursuit by Hades Boyce. Okay, up ahead, Shiraz Dada still hasn't let go of, hasn't let go of Renier Leach. He's on the back of Franco Erasmus now, and Franco Erasmus is still quite close to Renier Leach. So Renier managing to get an overtake there as well. Peter Gelden is looking like he might be going for the non-stopper again. I know he's been running that in an attempt to try and gain places in some races. I think in some cases it's worked for him, in some cases it hasn't quite worked out. I'm keeping a close eye. This man is clearly smarter than I maybe give him credit sometimes. Oh, okay, I think Cleopas just confirmed it then. James Leach into the pits. And I'm sure Renier Leach will be following soon. Call him the endurance guy. Okay, so Shiraz not quite able to hold on to Franco Erasmus there, but Franco is sticking on the back of Renier Leach now. I wonder if he might decide to go for the undercut at some stage. Slightly sideways there. Franco not quite carrying as much speed as he possibly can through turn 19, but he's keeping on the back. Oh, Renier dives into pits, Franco stays out, so Franco trying to make the overcut work for him. Sean Hards down in 15th, trying to make a move on Donnie Stander. I do see Sean Bingham is still back, so he's probably been having some internet issues. Glad to see him back. See through the race. He's had an amazing run, and it would be great to just see him finish it tonight. I think in the meanwhile, I think there's a bit of time. Let's go and look at Mr. Nick Hodgson. Why was my camera not switching? So Nick is lapping, I think that is Bjorn Buchner. He might be sitting on the back of Sean Bingham there, trying to push him a bit harder. And okay, no, Sean Bingham pulls over and lets him by. But this could be the opportunity for Sean to just sit in his toe a bit, get comfortable again, and run it to the end. While this is happening, Renier Leach is on the back of Cobus Ras. Cobus looks like he might not have gone to pits just yet. I'm expecting some drivers to stick with the hards for a 3/4 of the stint and maybe then switch to mediums. Although most having made the mediums work on the sprint race, it might make sense to just slap on the mediums in anyways for both stints if you're doing a 50-50 split. Up ahead, Gregory Hofart dives into pits. Renier Leach manages to outbrake Quibus into turn 19, says thank you very much, I will go do some work now. Pieter Geldenhuis, closest driver in third, Franco Erasmus, is behind him by 23 seconds. There is 11 and a half minutes left in this race. Back of the napkin math, that's what... my brain doesn't want to math. There's about 8 laps left. I'm gonna keep an eye on Pieter's time, lap time compared to that of Francois. So Nick's still doing 1:33.6s. Just jumping to Gregory Hofart and the Shiraz Dada battle that might be unfolding here. Nick just pumping in those quick laps. I don't think he's gone to pit yet, so he's comfortable with the hard tires and making them run deep. Might even be taking it right to the end of the race as well. Did I now miss Pieter's lap time? It appears so. So Franco Erasmus doing 1:35.8. Shiraz Dada dives into pits. Gregory Hofart says, I'm gonna continue on. Right, let's go and stick with Pieter Geldenhuis for a bit, so that I can see when he crosses the finish line. Otherwise I'm gonna miss his lap time again. While all this is going on, I'm gonna see what might happen if Pieter Geldenhuis takes the second position finish here, and Renier finishes. He's got a gap of 10 seconds to close. That might be a bit of a tall order. So if Renier finishes in 8th, he'll get 90 points for that race. I don't think it's going to be enough for Pieter. It might just be. With drop rounds, it looks like at present, with the present positions for everybody, Pieter Geldenhuis will end up with 928 points compared to Renier Leach's 926 points. So this is for all the beans, Pieter. This will give him a 4th position finish. Depends on what the other drivers behind him get when they finish. So very much still alive. I thought this battle was done. It is not. Look at what's about to unfold here. And again, I wasn't paying attention. So Pieter Geldenhuis now coming up to lap some other cars. I suspect that might be Cobus Ras. Let me maybe check perhaps. No, that is not Cobus Ras. One of the many Volvos. It's a bit difficult with this field. Hopefully next year we'll have a nice mix of different cars available. Back marker lets him by nicely. As does, that might be Christy Simon or Bjorn Buchner. Okay, so Peter, 21 seconds ahead. Franco Erasmus was doing a 135 something. Peter does a 137.4. So he's 2 seconds slower, but he definitely has the gap done. That is going to be a solid finish for Peter if he... It's all about keeping it clean and consistent now. 8 minutes, 7.5 minutes to go. I am excited. I'm excited to see how this race is going to end. Just checking in on Hades Boy. So he seems to be running a nice positive delta there. So I think he's gone to pit. Can't remember. And he's now finding a bit of pace, just stretching his legs a bit and getting comfortable. 135.8. And Rainier Leach doing a 135.2, so he's not able to quite bring that gap down quickly enough. At present, he should be bringing, he should be taking more than a second out of Hardes's time. But even then, he still needs to catch up to Stefan Herps to equalize, to score equal points with Peter. Leon van der Wester is having a bit of a moment there over a curb. Keeps it going into turn 6 now. The turn where I've seen him run wide, and he runs wide again. Just been struggling a bit with that turn. Not quite getting the car to slow down enough and then get the turn-in point right. Back up in front, Mr. Nick Hodgson on 21 laps. 28 seconds ahead of Peter Geldenhuys. Also hasn't gone to pit. Been pumping in solid laps. Last lap time I saw was still a 133 something, so he's not feeling tire degradation, well, enough tire degradation to care too much. So 5 minutes to go. That should mean Nick is going to complete 4 more laps after this lap. So as he completes his 22nd lap, 133.5. That is basically his quali pace. He has been blisteringly fast tonight. James Leach trying to hunt down Gregory Hofart, although I'm not sure if he'll be able to close that gap in the few laps that remain. And at some stage, I remember seeing Sean Bingham being a lap behind Sean Hards, and that is not the case anymore. So he's managed to unlap himself and bring back some of that pace that he had up front to try and bring home maybe a finish at the back, but a finish nonetheless. In fact, let's go see. It's nice and smooth. Well, I'm hoping he's going to be driving nice and smooth. He's under no pressure to unlap himself, well, to catch up to Sean Hards right now. He can simply focus on pumping in good laps and getting to the finish line. Gap between Peter Geldenhuys and Franco Erasmus now down to 17 seconds. Stefan Herbst almost looked like he found a bit of pace there. What happened to James Leach? James Leach, he is off track. And I think... Oh no. He's almost managed to... that would have been an unfortunate position to get stuck in. Okay, he gets it going again. That does give Rainier Leach a free position though. So let's go see. 91 for Rainier. That's going to mean Rainier will finish with 927 points. Is that Nick Hodgson? Yes, that is Nick Hodgson catching up to James Leach. So Nick, having lapped all the way to 8th position now. Francois Erasmus managing to close that gap down to 14 seconds now. Peter must just hold on. Rainier Leach is 4 seconds behind Hardis Boyce. Donnie Stunder right on the back of Sean Hards in the dead of the race now. I forgot to check. Nick has crossed the finish line. I think we might actually see one more lap. Yes, yeah, okay, 26 laps. That was about what I calculated earlier. Back to Donnie Stunder on the back of Sean Hards. Through turn 19 into 20 and 21. It's all about keeping it smooth and fast. Trying to close down that gap, although I don't think he had quite the exit he was hoping for. Yeah, he's dropping back quite a bit now. Lots of smoke here. Who is that? Rian van der Westhuizen. Trying to get past who? Oh, doesn't matter. Whoever that was managed to keep it going. Gap between Pieter Geldenhuys and Francois Erasmus down to 14.5 seconds. Pieter managing to just hold on. Nick coming around turn 19 into 20, 21 and 22 onto the main straight. He is going to start his final flying lap. Pieter Geldenhuys 42 seconds off of the back of Nick there. Let's go see where Pieter is currently driving at. Over the hill. Up the hill again to turn 19. He's had a solid drive tonight. Rian van der Westhuizen all over the back of Shiraz Dada. Rian just not shifting early enough there, it seemed. Into turn 6, this is the one that he's been struggling a bit with. This looks a lot cleaner. Doesn't run as wide, so you can get down on the power again. Right. My gut is telling me Nick is getting close. Over the hill. Ooh. Gregory Hofard has had a moment. Quite a bit of gap between him and Hardis and Rainier Leach, so maybe not quite enough. Nick crosses the finish line. Gregory Hofard is going to be under pressure from Rainier Leach for this lap now. I'll switch to Pieter Geldenhuys in just a moment to catch him crossing the finish line. James Leach finishes in 8th position. So everybody in that order is going to be following suit very soon. Peter Geldenhuys coming over the ridge there. But can Gregory hold on? If Renier overtakes Gregory Hofart, this is going to be a tie for 4th position in the championship. We might have to go down and see what the rules say about a tiebreaker. Gregory trying to hold on for dear life there. This is going... apologies, I'm not going to follow the rest. I'm going to see what unfolds here, because this is for all the beans. I'm sure Renier is aware of it. He's trying his best. So Peter Geldenhuys takes it home in 2nd. Francois Erasmus comes home in 3rd. Stefan Harps will take 4th. Gregory Hofart is holding on for dear life. Renier might pip him right there on the main straight. And he does. This is a tie for 4th position in the championship. Oh, what an exciting finish. Oh my. This is going to be an interesting one. Whew. Okay, let me quickly catch my breath. And while we do this, I'm gonna turn this on. Let us get out of the game quickly. And let me go see if I can find someone to interview. It's been a bit of a lonely race for Nick. He's done very well for himself there in the race tonight. We'll have to wait and see. Hello, Mr. Nick Hodgson.
Evening, Sass. How are you?
Well, not as chilled as you, it seems. How was your race?
It was great, thank you. It was great. It was a good track, a really awesome track to end on. Quite a tricky track, but really rewarding, really great fun. Yeah, you had to get, if you'd learned the balance of these cars, then you weren't going to have a problem. But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I did say at the beginning that it looks like Ross had, we mentioned earlier that Ross had already clinched the championship.
Yeah, annoyingly.
You are only 2 points behind him with tonight's
I thought
finish. But I'll tell you this, there was quite the battle tonight. Renier Leach and Peter Geldenhuys were neck and neck. Peter didn't go for a pit stop, and Renier had an overtake on the main straight on the last lap to tie themselves for 4th position in the championship. So we've got a bit of work for us ahead to try and see what's going on.
Excellent.
But yeah, it was very exciting. I was looking at you. You were just super smooth, like lots of elevation. Take us through your thoughts about the track itself.
Yeah. So obviously it's almost like, I don't know, Silverstone on stilts, in that there's lots of fast sweeping left to right, but you've also got the elevation change to contend with. Mm-hmm. So these cars can kind of go flat out pretty much through all of it. You've just got to modulate your throttle a little bit. So you don't need to touch the brakes. You just need to sort of go to about 80% throttle. And then as you go, over the crest or up in around the next corner, just to get the car, and this is obviously the front-wheel drive cars, just to get the back end stepping out very slightly. And it's not really the back end stepping out; it's more like a weight transfer thing. Yeah. Just to keep the car turned into the next corner, and then you get a nice flow going. Obviously, turn 2 is a little bit difficult. You've got to line that up as straight as you possibly can and brake a little bit early, especially on the hard tires. Just brake a little bit early, because then that allows you to carry a bit more speed through the corner and get a better exit. So sure, you could, kind of gain a 10th on the brakes ultimately, but you then lose. You can't carry that speed then nicely through the corner. So I just played it safe there. And then actually that first section of sort of switchbacks where you go after turn 2, you've got the right-hander, the left-hander, the right-hander, and then that last little left-hander, if you don't line that up properly, so you might have seen I was short shifting into 6th gear, and that was to just give myself as much room as possible going into that left-hander, because yeah, if you get that wrong, you're going to be spinning the car around. So again, just a little bit of a short shift.
All I'm hearing is I need to perhaps go and have a look at this track and get a feel for it, because I'm always excited by fictional tracks. I won't race at fictional tracks exclusively, but I think it gives us the opportunity to peer into the mind of a track designer in a space where budget isn't an issue.
Yeah, exactly. And I reckon after seeing this, Ryan's probably going to be licking his lips for the GP series next year.
Oh, that was exactly what I was thinking. This might be a very fun track for the GP series.
Yeah, so I think we could see the return of the circuit, but yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm just annoyed at myself that I didn't get the hang of these cars earlier in the season and allowed Ross to get such a run on me in the championship. I just wasn't able to close in on it, but yeah, it kept me honest.
There's always next season. Again, congrats on tonight's wins. Congrats on your overall second finish in the championship. It's been an exciting journey to follow along, and it's always just great chatting to you afterwards and getting some insight.
Yeah, no worries, Sas. Thanks very much. And a shout out to Sean Bingham, who got his first podium today. Teammate, he picked up a second, I think, in the first race. Suffered a disconnect in the second, but
he suffered a disconnect.
Well done to him.
So yeah, indeed, well done to Sean. Then, if that was his first podium, that was a well-deserved first podium. I was heartbroken when I saw he disconnected. Although I don't think it might have led to as much of a spicy race at the end for Pieter Geldenhuys and Renier Leach.
Yeah, I'm glad those guys had a great battle.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you for swinging by.
Awesome. Cheers, Sas.
Cool. All right. That is it. So Div1 Sim Race SA 2021.2 SimTC series completed. Still Div2 to come up on Wednesday. Knowing that Pieter was racing tonight, he might be sharing a stream his side. We'll have to wait and see. I hope that everybody took some notes, see what strategies work and what doesn't work. I had a lot of fun, and as always, like it's great having people here. So onwards and upwards, we're looking forward to the virtual Kyalami 9-hour next weekend. Some of our SRSA admins are involved there. We're helping out with some of the work, but it's going to be an exciting one. We're trying to match the live race very closely, so having aggregate qualifying along with a Super Bowl shootout, and then having the race on the Sunday, but it's technically mirroring this Saturday. Really looking forward to that, followed by the GP race on Kyalami. Everybody having done Kyalami now on ACC, it's going to be interesting to get back into those GP cars and suddenly find out that you can't ride the curbs as aggressively. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to the last two races, the GP, the GT and Sim Legends series as well. Still some good fun racing to be had over the next few weeks, but I will call it for tonight. Everybody should have a great night, and good luck to the Div2 drivers. Looking forward to seeing how the championship shakes out for you as well. Right, have a good night, everybody.